The circle of fifths is one of the most powerful concepts that is in music, serving as a foundational tool for understanding and exploring the relationships between keys and chords. There is something truly elegant about this chord progression, which, by the way, is built with the circle of fifths. A symmetry that reflects the intrinsic order of the musical universe. Today we break down the circle of fifths for harmonic chord progressions using diatonic chords to create a set of beautiful arpeggios you can play across the neck. I'll be using a classical guitar, but of course you can also refer to this video to learn how to play similar arpeggios on the electric guitar. Of course you can also use your acoustic guitar. Now let's take a moment to learn the chord progression. We are in the key of E minor. We have E minor, A minor, D major, G major, C major, F sharp diminished, B major, and back to E minor. The interval structure behind this chord progression is known as the circle of descending fifths, which makes sense since we're playing E, moving a fifth down to A, to D, to G, to C, to F sharp, to B, and finally back to E. So this chord progression follows the beautiful descending fifths, but how can we use it to create arpeggios? Let's start simple with an example played with open chords. It sounds like this. This circle of fifths works amazingly well with symmetrical ideas. So even when building basic open finger-picking arpeggios, like this one, try to stick with the same interval structure. Let me break it down for you. So in this case, we always use the same harmonic structure. So we play the root note of the chord, then the fifth of the chord, and the minor third. So for the E minor, we have E, B, and G, root, fifth, and minor third. We'll do the same thing for all the other chords. So for the A minor chord, we have the root note, the fifth, and the minor third. For the D major chord, we have to play a major third. So we will have root note, fifth, and major third, the F sharp. Same thing for the G major, root note, fifth, and major third. C major, root note, fifth, and major third, F sharp diminished, root note, fifth, and minor third, and B major, root note, fifth, and major third. We finish with the E minor again, root note, fifth, and the minor third. Now this is a great example and I love the sound. However, to better understand the harmonic symmetry between the chords, we are going to practice using open triads. Although it's a bit more challenging, we will avoid using open strings. This approach helps clarify the harmonic structure of each chord as it demonstrates how the same chord shape can be applied to all the chords in the progression. So let's play the chords like this. Now we're still playing the same chord progression: E, A, D, G, C, F sharp, B, and E. Now let's build the chords on top of these roots. We have E minor, and again we're still using the same interval structure. So we have root note E, the fifth, B, and the minor third, G. Now memorize this chord shape since we're going to be using it for all the other minor chords. The next chord is A minor, and we're playing it like this: root note, fifth, and the minor third, D major, root note, fifth, and major third, G major. Same thing here on fret 5. Same thing for the C major chord, always root note, fifth, and major third. Now F sharp diminished, we have root note, flat 5, and flat 3, B major, root note, fifth, and a major third, and we finish with the E minor chord, played like this. It's the same chord with root note, fifth, and minor third. Now you can add a simple picking pattern and you're good to go. You have thumb, index, and ring. You can repeat the same picking pattern twice per chord. So using open triads played with fretted notes will definitely help you visualize the chord shapes better, since they're always the same. Now let's add a little bit of color to the arpeggios, like this. Now, even in this example, we are making everything symmetrical. So we keep the same structure for all the chords. So you will play the arpeggio, root note, fifth, and minor third. I'm playing over the E minor chord. Now, after the minor third, which is on fret 8, you will play the second of the chord on fret 7, the F sharp, back to the minor third on fret 8, and you finish with the root note on fret 9 of the G string. So it's the arpeggio and the melody, just 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. I like to use the altered plucking technique to play the melody. Now let's move the same concept to the other chords. The A minor chord, play the arpeggio, and then the melody on fret 7, 8, and 10 on the B string. Again, minor third, major second, minor third, and we finish with the root note. Same thing for the D major. Second string, we have fret number 7, 5, 7, and fret 7 on the third string. Same thing for the G major, arpeggio. Then you have 7, 5, 7. We finish with the root note on the B string, fret number 8. Now C major, arpeggio, then we have fret number 5, 3, 5, and the root note on the G string fret number 5. Now the next chord, the F sharp diminished, play the arpeggio, and then you have fret number 3, 5, and we play the second string fret number 5, just a different note. We finish with the B major, play the arpeggio, then the melody on fret 4, 2, 4, and the root note on the G string fret number 4. We finish with the last chord, the E minor. We make the melody sound conclusive, so arpeggio, then fret number 3, 2, and 5 on the B string. Now, of course, this is just one example. In fact, we can change the melody and play an ascending line instead of always playing a descending melody, like this. Now, of course, last but not least, you can break out of the circle of fifths and play a different chord progression, like this. This is a clear example of how we can build a different chord progression using these same symmetrical ideas. So I'm playing a C major, D major, and E minor, but also G major and C major here. Always open triads, a D major, and we finish with the E minor chord. Now the concept is still the same. We're still playing the arpeggio followed by a melody. Arpeggio, C major, and then the melody. So in this case it's 7, 3, and 7. We'll do the same thing for the other chords. D major, arpeggio, and then melody. 8, 5, and 8. E minor, arpeggio, and then the melody, 10, 7, and 10 again, G major, arpeggio, 13, 10, and 12. We finish with the C major, arpeggio, and then the melody, it's 12, 10, 13, and 12. D major, we go back to position 5, arpeggio, then the melody is on fret number 7, 5, 7, and 5, and we finish with the E minor chord. So the arpeggio, and then the melody, 7, 9, 7, and 9. You can play the E on the bass. So we used a powerful concept such as the circle of fifths to create beautiful arpeggios. Now, of course, you can take it a step further and create your arpeggios. Try to come up with a simple chord progression, learn the chord structure, create beautiful open triads, and then add a simple melody to the chords. In the meanwhile, you can find the tab on my Patreon page. So if you want to support this channel and get the tab, check my Patreon page. I'll leave the link in the description down below. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me know how it goes in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.